Thank you, Ms Wishart. We will now move to the open part of the debate, and I call Ruth Maguire to be followed by Murdo Fraser. Ms Maguire.
Thank you, Presiding Officer. The use of tainted evidence provided by the Post Office in criminal cases right across the United Kingdom is one of the largest miscarriages of justice that has occurred in recent history. Some sub-postmasters were suspended or dismissed, and others were prosecuted for offences of dishonesty, with a number being convicted and in some cases imprisoned. This miscarriage of justice has had profound impacts on the people affected by it. Bankruptcy, loss of family homes, individuals hounded as thieves in the communities they lived in and provided trusted services to, breakdowns in relationships with partners, children and friends, and the mental and physical health problems that result from the devastating toll such a distressing and unjust situation takes. Several died by suicide. Estimates suggest that nearly 1,000 individuals were convicted on the basis of evidence from the Horizon system across the United Kingdom over a 20-year period. In Scotland, these prosecutions were brought forward by the Crown Office and Procurator Fiscal Service. In 2020, the Scottish Criminal Cases Review Commission, which investigates possible miscarriages of justice in Scotland, wrote to 73 potential victims of the Horizon scandal. In line with the approach of the UK Government, the Scottish Government believes that anyone wrongly convicted as a result of the impact of the defective Horizon IT system should have their conviction quashed and, as a result, be entitled to UK Government compensation. With a number of the cases affected by the Horizon IT failings being over 20 years old and some victims having passed away, there is also the situation that many are in declining health or have lost faith in the justice system and understandably would not wish to engage further with it. The current system relies on sub-postmasters choosing to lodge an appeal, which many will not want to do for obvious reasons. It also relies on there being evidence that the conviction is unsafe, and in many cases that evidence no longer exists. Continuing with the current system would not achieve the objective of ensuring all wrongful convictions are quashed. The effect of the bill before us is both symbolic and practical. By quashing the convictions of postmasters, it removes the stain from those who were wrongly convicted. However, it also has a practical effect. Under the overturned convictions scheme established by the UK Government, anyone who was wrongly convicted as a result of Horizon evidence is eligible to receive compensation, but only once their conviction has been overturned. So the many postmasters and others who are wrongfully convicted but have not appealed through the courts are unable to access the compensation that they deserve. The UK bill will remove this barrier to access for those who ought to be entitled to financial redress through the compensation schemes, and the bill before us today seeks to do likewise for Scottish postmasters. Given the unique circumstances arising from the endemic failings of the Horizon IT system, it is absolutely right that our Scottish Parliament takes the unprecedented action in the form of primary legislation to quash relevant convictions, rather than relying on the existing justice system to cure the miscarriages of justice that arose. That said, Presiding Officer, undoubtedly the quickest and easiest route to overturn these miscarriages of justice would have been for the UK Government to extend their Post Office Horizon System Offences Bill to cover sub-postmasters in Scotland. I think that many Scottish citizens will find it strange that the UK Government excluded them, and I remain unclear as to why the Scottish Government's repeated requests for inclusion of Scottish victims were refused. But they were, and therefore the Scottish Government's bill before us mirrors that of UK legislation to ensure parity for affected sub-postmasters in Scotland with those elsewhere in the UK, and crucially to ensure access to the UK Government's compensation scheme. Presiding Officer, I am heart sorry that justice has taken so long, and for some it is coming far too late. But we'll be glad to vote to progress this bill this evening and move us towards delivering action to ensure sub-postmasters in Scotland affected by wrongful convictions can receive justice by having their convictions quashed and access to compensation that they so gravely deserve. Presiding Officer.